Welcome to the second module of the GIS e-learning package. This module will walk you through the QGIS basics and how to work with spatial datasets. But before we do that, let's have a quick recap from the previous module. In the previous module, we defined GIS. We also discussed its basic functions and key components, as well as the two major data models and how they are represented in a GIS. At the end of this module, we hope that you will understand the steps of downloading and installing QGIS software on your computers. To be able to open up QGIS and familiarize yourselves with the software interface. And 3, know how to add both vector and raster data to QGIS. In the following slides, you will be watching few short videos on how to download and install your free open source desktop GIS, how to open up QGIS software, familiarize yourselves with the QGIS interface, and add data to QGIS and understand attribute tables associated with the different datasets. First step is to open the browser on your desktop and navigate to QGIS.org. This will take you to the QGIS project homepage. You click the download now button. It will display the version of the software that you want to install. In this case, we are installing the long-term release version, which is 3.22. It will open up another window that will show the installation file. This window appears on your screen. You can see I've tried to download the version, but initially it says it takes over 1 hour, so we do not want to wait that long. So I've already downloaded an installation file, and it's already saved on my desktop. In your case, you will have to go through the process. You download the installation file and wait for it to be completed before you can actually install the software. So the version of the software we're using is QGIS 3.22.4. As I've mentioned, it's already downloaded onto my desktop. So we'll just go onto the desktop where I've saved my installation file. In your case, you may want to save it on a different folder, but in this case, I've installed it on my desktop. Let's just click on the installation file. It will open up that window that asks you to install. You just keep on clicking next and click the appropriate box before you go to the next window. So you will this process might take a bit longer. It's not yeah, that's the process it takes to install an application, just like how you install software on your computer. So you'll just have to wait, and then while the QGIS software keeps on the developers keep releasing new versions. The last version that we're using is 3.16. So the version that we're using for this training, for this exercise, is QGIS 3.22.4. So, and yeah, so maybe in the future there'll be another version that's released. So yeah, it keeps on a new version keeps coming up, and then yeah, we have to install this. And the new version, when they release, it comes with new plugins that they call it, new extensions, which assist you in your mapping. So you need to, but for this exercise, the basics, we are just installing version 3.22.4 just to demonstrate how you download the software and how you install it on your computers. This is the free version. It's an open source software. You don't need to buy the license, unlike QGIS, which is a proprietary software. But for this one, it's a free tool. There are a number of developers out there that contribute to the development of this free software. So it is the same one that we are using in this e-learning module. And yeah, as while you're waiting for the installation to complete, you can explore other documentation or other documents within the QGIS website that will help you to understand how the software operates, how they also have tutorial or exercises that if you want to learn more about how to use QGIS. Also, it will show you the installation file not only available for Windows, which what I'm demonstrating to you, walking you through in this video, but there are also installation file for Mac computers. If you have Mac computers, there are also installation file for Linux, those who have Linux. So it's taking care of all the different operating systems. As I mentioned in this video, we'll be going through how installation file for Windows application. While it's waiting for it to install, you can do other, while it's installing, you can do your other work, work on other documents that you may be working on, or work on your emails while it's while you're waiting for the installation to complete. This is the only part that takes longer to install, because there's so many files. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier. So this is the installation file for Mac operating system. So the same version, also this installation file for Linux computers. And at the same time, you can explore the website, go to the documentation. The documentation up here. It talks about the software, desktop user guide and manual, the server user guide and manual, QGIS training manual, introduction in GIS. So those are some of the materials that are available on the website. We also have documentation for users, like 3 steps on getting started using QGIS, how to download QGIS, documentation, and connect with the QGIS community. Yeah, these are all available in the QGIS website. There's a whole lot of documents out there that can help you if you want to know more about how to install and how to use QGIS. There are training manuals, there's a QGIS tutorial that you can refer to if you want to know more about the software. In this video, we're just taking you through the basics of download, install, and open the the QGIS application. About to complete this installation, you have a few more minutes to complete this one. So once it's done, you'll just have to click the Finish tab to complete the installation. There you go, it's completed. So you just click Finish to end. Now that that's the end of this video, you have successfully installed your QGIS software. Type QGIS on the search bar at the bottom left corner of your screen. QGIS displayed as the first program on the list. Select QGIS 3.22 to load the application. You'll see QGIS appeared on your screen. If you have opened up QGIS before and worked on some projects, you will see several windows displayed on your map canvas. But if you are opening it for the first time, which may be the case for most of you, a different window with a blank map canvas will be displayed. If you are able to follow these steps, congratulations, you have successfully installed QGIS on your computer.
So when you first open up QGIS, you're going to see something very similar to what's displayed on the screen here. At the very top of the screen, we have the menu items. And there's several tabs that we could explore here. The first is the Project tab, and this lets us either start a new project, open previously saved projects, or save the project that we're currently working on. We can also set up a new print layout, and this is what we'll explore in a later lesson, but this essentially lets us build different maps. And we can also manage these in what's called the Layout Manager. Also in the Edit tab, we have various options for copying features from one shapefile and pasting them into another. We can add very specific vector styles such as circles and rectangles. In the View tab, we have a couple different tools that let us pan and zoom in and out through the map canvas. We have options to measure lines and areas that are displayed on the map canvas, and various zoom options. In the Layer tab, there are a couple options here that let us either create a new layer, so we can create new shapefiles, or we can add various different types of data, including vector data, raster data, and tabular data. There's also a Settings tab, which lets us customize the QGIS interface. There's a Plugins tab, which lets us install and load third-party tools for analysis. The Vector tab gives us access to very specific tools used to process and analyze vector data. The Raster tab lets us perform different operations and analyses for raster data. And there's several other tabs that I'm not going to go into much detail about, but you can explore on your own. Immediately underneath the menu options are a series of toolbars. A lot of the tools that are displayed in the toolbars are also available in the menu options, such as opening a new project, opening previously saved projects, saving your current project, panning and zooming in and out of the map canvas, and things that we had just mentioned and the menu option tabs. The third component that you're going to see is the map canvas. This is where the data will be visually displayed when you load it into your project. The browser panel helps us navigate to different data sets that are stored on your computer or other attached storage devices. The Layers panel, or also known as the Table of Contents, lists the data layers that are added into your project and subsequently visualized within the map canvas. And the last important component is the status bar. The status bar displays the coordinates of the cursor as we move through the map canvas. It also displays the map scale, and most importantly, the coordinate system that the map canvas is displayed in. In this case, it's being displayed in EPSG 3832, which is WGS 84 PDC Mercator. The first data set that you add into your project actually sets the coordinate system for the map canvas and the project. And we'll see this shortly when we start adding data into our project. Next, I'm going to show you 4 ways of how you can add data into your QGIS project. The first option is to simply go to the browser panel, and here I can navigate to my C drive, to QGIS Training Vanuatu folder, the Datasets subdirectory, and I can see there's several shapefiles that are in this folder. The first dataset I'm going to add is the Vanuatu WDPA points. These are actually protected area points for the country of Vanuatu that are derived from the World Database of Protected Areas. If I double-click on the dataset, 2 things happen. It's displayed visually in the map canvas, as well as added to our table of contents. And now the coordinate system of the project is set to WGS 84, which was the coordinate system of the Vanuatu WDPA points data layer. The second way I can add data is to go up to the Layers tab in the menu options. And if I go down and select Add Layer, you can see there are several different ways or different tools to add in different styles of data, such as the Add Vector Data, Add Raster Data, Add Delimited Text Data Layer. For this case, I'm actually going to add another vector layer. And when I click on this, it opens up a dialog box where I'm allowed to browse and find the data set that I'm interested in using. And in this case, I'm going to go and select the Vanuatu WDPA polygons layer. I can also either click on the shapefile here, or I can set a filter and make it specifically look for Esri shapefiles and only return those in the browser box. So when I click on this, I just see the shapefiles that are located within this directory. And I'm going to go and navigate to WDPA polygons. And then select Open and add the data set. And then close. And now I can see there's a Vanuatu WDPA polygon data that's displayed in the map canvas as green polygons. The third way I can add data is to use this toolbar that's located on the left-hand side of the browser panel. You'll see there's an Add Vector layer, an Add Raster layer, Add Delimited Text layer. These are all similar to what was displayed in the Layer tab of the menu options. For this example, I'm going to add a raster data set. Once again, once I click on this, a dialog box opens up. It lets me browse to where my imagery will be located. So this will actually be in an imagery subdirectory. I'm going to select the TIFF file for the imagery for Vanuatu and click Open, Add, and then close. And we can see that the imagery is now loaded for one of the islands for Vanuatu. The fourth way I can add data is to simply drag and drop it into the QGIS project from a Windows file folder. For this example, I'm going to locate where the shapefile extension is for Vanuatu roads from OpenStreetMap 2020 and simply drag and drop it into the QGIS map canvas, and it becomes added into our project. So now we have 4 data sets that were loaded into our QGIS project by 4 different methodologies. So I'm going to zoom into Afete Island. So I'm going to go up and select the zoom into tool, and then draw a rectangle around where I want to zoom into. You may notice that the satellite imagery is actually being loaded on top of our Vanuatu WDPA polygons and our Vanuatu WDPA points. We can change the way that the data sets are drawn in the map canvas by going over the table of contents and dragging the order of the layers. In this case, I drag the satellite imagery to the bottom and it's displayed underneath all the vector data. Also in the table of contents, we're able to explore some of the properties of the vector datasets. So if we go to one of the vector layers and right-click, several options become available. We can zoom to the layer, we can duplicate the layer, but most importantly, we can actually view the attribute table. So we can actually see the descriptive data for the polygon layer. So by clicking Open Attribute, we see several things. First off, at the top, we see that there's 13 features in this polygon layer. This means that there's 13 polygons. We can also see the names of the fields for each one of the features in the polygon layer, such as the name of the protected area, its designation type, and several other fields. We can close the attribute table by right-clicking on the X in the corner.
In summary, we walked you through the basic steps of downloading and installing QGIS. You now should be more familiar with the different QGIS interface and the different methods of adding data to QGIS. To help you understand the module, here are a few questions that we would like you to reflect on. 1. Can you identify how to download the software or the link to the QGIS application? Number 2, do you know how to open the QGIS application on your computers once it is installed? 3, are you able to identify the key interface in the QGIS windows? And lastly, can you identify one way of adding data or layer to QGIS? This is the end of Module 2.